I built my first company from zero to over £1 million in under 3 years. And what I'm going to walk through today is one of the things that actually allowed me to do that. In fact, this has actually booked me 84 sales calls in the last month alone. Now, what I'm talking about here is direct messaging or DMs. But before I jump into that, I make these videos for business owners who want to grow their business, they want to get more clients, they want to make more money. So if you are a business owner and you want to do any of those things, click subscribe so that you can get more videos like this helping you do exactly those things. So I'm going to jump into this for you, and I'm just going to basically break down how you can use DMs to get in front of your ideal clients, the people who you want to sell your services to, and how you can transition from sending that initial message all the way through to getting them booked into a sales call, a discovery call, a meeting, whatever it is that you need to actually go and perform to convert someone into a client. Now, sending DMs is just part of an outreach strategy. So this is just one of the ways that we would be contacting our ideal clients. Now, an ideal client or someone who fits into an ideal client profile is just simply someone who is in the right business, has the right job title, or has the problem or the pain that your business can solve. It's really as straightforward as that. And quite simply, sending direct messages to those people is one of the best ways that you can actually pull them through and book meetings with them. The reason I like them so much is because it's less intrusive than other methods like cold calling or emailing, and it actually feels like a conversation instead of just a cold sales pitch. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a massive fan of other ways as well, but I like this because it is a conversation with the right person. So the key thing here is there are 6 ways in which we take this conversation. There's 6 steps to our DMs. They simply are intro, rapport building, transition, qualifying, your expertise statement, and lastly, your call to action. And what we've got to remember here is that people don't buy from strangers. People buy from people. And that's why your cold, direct, straight to the point sales pitch probably doesn't work. And having a conversation will be the thing that actually converts your ideal client or your prospect through to that meeting. It's also key to remember that you can't help everyone, and that's why we want to qualify them. You can't help everybody, so we need to make sure that the person that you are talking to has the problem that you can fix, so that when you get them into a sales call, a discovery call, a meeting, you can actually solve the problem that they're having. Okay, so let's start with the intro. Now, first things first is you don't need to overthink your introduction. Make it casual, make it friendly. You're just kind of opening the door here. It's not a pitch. You don't want to blurt out everything all at once. Just something really simple like, hey, I saw your post about whatever it was, or hi, thanks for connecting. Something really quick, really simple. Now, after the intro, that's where we go into the rapport building. And we want to build a little bit of rapport because you can tell when someone is just saying hi and then cut straight to a pitch, or whether they're actually trying to build a little bit of rapport and establish a relationship before they do that. I'm not saying that you have to talk to somebody for message after message after message, but if you can just ask a question, it will engage that prospect before you then lead into your qualification. So something as simple as like, oh, how's it going over at X company? Or if they've commented or liked your status or post, you could just relate to that and say, oh, what was your take on, insert subject. Now what we want to do from there is we want to transition. So you're going to ask them something that is going to transition this conversation through from just rapport building more towards the subject of what it is that you actually sell. So you might want to ask something like, oh, what is it that you're working on right now? Or are you a business owner as well? These transitional statements are really key because you don't want to go straight from rapport building to selling because, again, that's pretty transparent. But having that transitional statement kind of takes it just one step closer towards the conversation that we actually want to be having with this person. So once we've done that, then we get into our qualification, which this is the good stuff, right? Your qualifying questions allow you to understand as to whether this person is a good fit for the service that you provide. So by asking things like, oh, what's your biggest challenge around insert topic? Okay, insert the thing that you probably sell. Or something like, oh, and how do you handle X problem at the moment? This is where you learn about their pains and the problems that they're having around a certain topic or subject, which kind of sets the stage for you to then come in with your solution. And if they've got a real problem or they're having an issue with the thing, this is where they're going to open up a little bit about it, or just kind of give a nod in the direction of the fact that they need some sort of solution here for the problem. Now, equally, if they've got no issue at all, and it's very clear that they have never even heard of the thing that you are trying to sell, or they're just very clearly the wrong person here, then that's no problem at all. I always say that it's much easier to find someone else who does have the problem than it is to actually convince someone that they have the problem. So if it is a hard no, and don't get me wrong, we can do a little bit of digging, we can ask a couple of questions to see if they are just kind of brushing you off or whether there is actually a real problem there. But if it's a really hard no, then you can just put it down and say, look, thanks for your time, and then move on to the next person. Because these questions are the questions that allow you to decide where to focus your time and attention when it comes to getting those people into having proper meetings with you. Now, let's say this person says, oh yeah, we have had problems with that in the past, or yeah, we're thinking about how we can do that better at the moment. This is where you want to show your expertise. Because so far, we've just had a conversation. They may not even know that you provide a solution to that subject or that problem that they've got. What we don't want to do here is write 25 paragraphs about how amazing you are and all of the good things that you've ever done. But we just want to give a subtle nod to the fact that we can solve that thing. So something like, oh, that's interesting. We actually solved that problem for company X in the last 30 days. Or something like, company Y had that problem when we started working with them, but over the course of sort of 12 weeks, we managed to put our solution in place for them, and now they're pain-free. It's normally not good enough to just say that you're good at a certain thing, and it's really going to help your cause if you can kind of back it up with proof. So by dropping in the name of the company and the time frame that you've done that within will really show this prospect that you do know what you're doing and you're an expert in this field. Now, lastly, what we want to do here is put in our call to action, our CTA. Now, our call to action is essentially telling the prospect to take some form of next step. And what I would typically do here is I would take our expertise statement and I would take our CTA and I would kind of fuse them together so it's just one statement. So for example, you could say, oh, that's strange. We actually helped company X solve that problem in 30 days. CTA, do you think it would be worth us having a conversation to see if we could do the same for you? Now, this call to action asks them directly, shall we have a conversation? And you're lining it up with that expertise statement just beforehand so that you are positioning yourself as someone who can solve the problem, and you're giving them the next step to actually take the step to solve it. Now, hopefully, if you've earned a little bit of trust, you've had a conversation with them, they see you as a person and not just someone who is trying to push them into a sale, they're going to be likely to say, yeah, sure, let's have a chat. And that is the transition through to having the meeting or doing the sales call or having the discovery, whatever those next steps are for your business. But why does all of this matter? I hear you ask. Well, the bottom line is people don't like being sold to, but they do like having conversations. They like to feel understood, and they want to buy from someone that they know, they like, and they trust. So if you come in with a hard pitch straight away, you're going to get no response or a negative response a lot of the time because it's almost too cold and too fast. But by using the structure that we've laid out in this video, what you're doing is building a little bit of trust, building a little bit of relationship, and showing them that you actually care about the problems that they have. Not only that, you're then positioning yourself as someone that they know and that they can trust because you have this expertise around this problem, and therefore you make it feel like the natural next step is having a call or having a conversation with you about solving the problem. So the easiest way that you can do this in a nice streamlined fashion is have some sort of database of questions, of steps that you can take in these conversations. So take all 6 of these headings and write a couple of questions that will open the conversation, build some rapport, transition into your qualification, show the prospect that you're an expert at what you do, and then a nice straightforward call to action. Now, what I actually have for you is in the description of this video, there is a link to my database of questions that I have used in the past to build my businesses to 6 and 7 figures. And it's quite simply just a list of questions and steps in your DM conversations that you can copy and paste and just insert the blank so that you can go and find your ideal clients, open up conversations with them, and then convert them into meetings or sales calls or whatever it is. And by having some sort of like database or list of these questions and these conversations, it's just going to allow you to have more of them because it requires less thought process on your end, and you don't have to be continuously thinking about where am I in this conversation and then jumping over to the next one and where am I in this conversation. You can quite simply just relate back to the database, pick out one of the questions that you feel is going to be the best at that point of that conversation and just insert it so it transitions over naturally into the next step of the conversation. So just in closing, make sure that you're not jumping into people's DMs and just pitch slapping them with your cold and fast approach to trying to book meetings, because I promise you that it won't work. I mean, you might get the odd meeting or two, you might get the odd person who is right in that buying window and weirdly kind of likes the approach. But for the most part, you're going to want to have a conversation, come across as a real person who someone knows, likes, and trusts so that they want to have a meeting with you. And by using these 6 stages of that DM conversation, you'll be able to get people from completely cold to having a conversation with you about the thing that you sell, the problems that you solve. I hope that's been useful for you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And lastly, before we do go, remember I make these videos for business owners who want to get more clients, grow their business, and make more money. So if you're a business owner and you want to do any of those things, make sure you hit subscribe so that you get more videos like this so that I can help you grow your business completely free. For now, guys, thank you very much for being here, watching the video. I really appreciate it. Please, like I say, subscribe, comment, share the video, and I will see you on the next one.